Welcome to the Easier Way to Sell presentation of Close the Deal Without Selling. Here's your host and developer of the Easier Way to Sell, Ike Krieger.
Hey, this is Ike Krieger. Welcome back. We are learning how to close the deal without selling in a step-by-step fashion that's going to help you turn your contacts into contracts more easily and more often. And what we've learned up till now is that using this system, your prospect will be the one that will give you the presentation. Your prospect will be the one that actually closes the deal. And in the last few episodes, we've shared with you the basic building blocks that are going to help you have a whole new level of sales success. So, here's our next episode. Enjoy. This next topic has to do with educating your prospects. Here's a little quiz. You should always educate your prospects, true or false. Now, you want to do a good job in educating your prospects because you think that once you give them information, which includes features and benefits and the why and the how, your product will do the job for them, your sales experience will be made easier. I believe just the opposite is true. Most of you get frustrated because you end up giving away valuable information for free that ends up being used against you, or it gets used to beat up some other poor supplier. You know, sometimes it's better to conceal your wisdom. Most of the time, it's better to give no information at all. Your job is really to get information and not give it. So, I believe the answer to the quiz is false. I believe you should never educate your prospects. It's okay to educate your clients. They're compensating you for that education. This may come as a jolt to some of you, but this includes preparing and writing extensive proposals before the prospect has told you what they want in that proposal in order to accept it. Unless and until you have that information, I think you should hold off in doing what is really free research. This free research just may lead your prospect to a solution which in some cases might not include you. So, unless it's part of your business plan, you must never give away valuable information for free. Here's a tip I'd like you to remember. It may be a little harsh, but it's very accurate. Your prospects don't care about you. Your prospects don't care about what you do. Your prospects certainly don't care about how you do it. All your prospect cares about is what you can do for them. Remember this tip. You have bad sales habits. Where did you get them? First of all, habits are installed through repetition. You've probably heard that it takes a minimum of 21 days of continuous use of a behavior pattern before it becomes internalized, or to use a computer term, before the behavior is installed. Well, here's a great story that illustrates the power of an installed habit. When a baby is ready to begin walking, the baby begins the process of walking. There is no record of a non-physiologically impaired human being not learning how to walk. I mean, there's never been anybody who began his or her life declining to walk. The baby sees mother or big sister walking and moving around much more quickly than they can. The babies find a way to pull themselves up in their crib or by holding onto the arm of the couch. Once they've mastered this phase in the evolutionary process of standing and walking, it's time to stand by themselves. Most of us have seen this next phase in our children or in other babies we've been around. The baby attempts without holding on to anything. They try to stand. They fall. They try to stand again. They fall. They try again. They fail. They try. They fail. Then they try again and they fail. They get exasperated. They get angry, they get frustrated, but they don't give up on the mission to become a practicing biped. They keep trying to stand. They try, they fail, they try, they fail, they try, they succeed. They try, they fail, they try, they succeed. Succeed. This success is soon translated into a habit that's so firmly entrenched into our unconscious, so firmly a part of our human neurological system that nothing short of a stroke or other major trauma can remove the power to walk from our list of abilities. You don't forget how to walk. Well, there may have been an instance relating to some morning after the night before where it may have seemed that you'd forgotten how to walk, but as you eventually discovered, you just don't forget how to walk. I'm a fan of movies and get a big kick out of the movies that contain a storyline where the hero or someone else declares, "I have amnesia. I can't remember anything." Well, they remembered how to talk. Our speech process, our ability to talk, like our ability to walk, is so firmly entrenched in us that the only way you can lose the power to speak is through a stroke or some other kind of major trauma. Your desire to talk, to be listened to, appreciated, and understood is not only understandable, it almost can't be helped. You have few, if any, other means of communication with which you're anywhere near as comfortable, so most of us do what comes naturally. You talk. Here's a great unattributable quote. "Opportunities are often missed because you are broadcasting when you should be receiving." When you talk, you are literally forcing the listener to tune into your signal. They have to search for the best way to receive your message and translate from the form in which you sent the message into the form which they need it translated for their understanding. So I believe it is our responsibility as an effective communicator to have the sensory awareness to recognize the channel, the frequency, or whatever communications terminology you want to pick that the other person favors. You can then deliver your message to the other person or people on that channel, the channel that they most readily and most effectively receive and process information. What you end up doing is meeting people at their model of the universe. In a study of individuals who were identified as super salespeople, it was discovered that as they went about the business of selling and pitching their products, they were subtly adjusting the way they were communicating. And these adjustments allowed them to communicate to their prospects the same way that their prospects were communicating to them. The more they communicated in a way that matched how the prospect communicated, the more successful they were. When asked, most of these salespeople claimed that they didn't know that they were involved in this communications dance with their prospects, but they were dancing a dance with their prospects nonetheless. All of this communications dancing took place at the unconscious level. We're going to focus on dancing this dance on purpose. You're going to use this dance as a means of creating authentic relationships, authentic communication, and a buying environment in which your questions will be answered honestly. When you learn to recognize and dance the prospect's dance, you'll find that you no longer have to break through resistance. You'll find that that resistance simply disappears. What appears instead is an atmosphere of trust. This ability and desire to establish an atmosphere of authentic communication and trust is the most powerful rapport-building shortcut in existence. And when you communicate in an atmosphere of trust, you'll find that your questions will be answered more honestly than ever before. Again, in this atmosphere of trust, your communication, both oral and physical, will occur like a dance. If you leave this channel matching step out of your communication, your results will be random and inconsistent. So, dance the dance of your prospect. Here I am asking you to dance a dance that you might not even know the steps to, but fear not. I am here to share those steps with you, and pretty soon your dancing will be elegant. Just a reminder, the accompanying digital action guide for the entire Close the Deal Without Selling podcast is now available at sellandmarketbetter.com. And remember to use the episode coupon code that you'll find in your show notes. It may be a little early in the learning curve for the system to explore this next topic, but I've been around you or someone like you for a long time, and you know what? You can handle it. Pattern interrupts are a valuable tool for effective communication. A pattern interrupt refreshes the thought process. Basically, a pattern interrupt clears your brain cache. A pattern interrupt is a communications tool designed to deal with your prospects' pre-programmed buying strategies. Here is a helpful pattern interrupt. Take in no selling materials on your first call. Instead, use your presentation and your sales materials as your close. You usually show prospects your best presentation materials early in the sales call. These are materials that either your company or you yourself have designed. These materials may include brochures, flip charts, or a PowerPoint-style presentation. And you use your materials to make a great pitch, and the prospect still doesn't buy, or even worse, they end the meeting and tell you that they're gonna think about it. A pattern interrupt will help eliminate scenarios like this one. Shift the focus of your materials. Use your materials to display your problem-solving abilities. Think of how powerful your presentation will become when you deploy your material as evidence of your ability and experience in solving the problems you uncovered in your interview. In other words, approaching your appointments in this new way is courageous. You're being asked to go into your initial meeting with a prospect with nothing more than note-taking material and the yes formula. But you need to go in empty-handed. Take in nothing but a folded piece of paper and a writing instrument. That's it. No briefcase, no slide projector, no brochures, no flip charts. And before you say what you're thinking out loud, "This Ike guy is crazy," you might want to think for a second about your answer to the following question. What goes through your mind when someone comes to see you with a briefcase in hand? Well, if you're like, everybody, you're probably sitting there wondering about two things. What's in the case, and how much is it going to cost me? Now, you may not intend to, but an entrance with a briefcase most likely creates a defensive posture on the part of the prospect. And when a prospect believes you're there to sell them something, you risk losing your opportunity to create instant rapport. Going in empty-handed throws the prospect off their defensive buying strategy. Now, I need to be clear on this. It's okay to have your materials nearby. For instance, leave them in your car or with the receptionist. You want to have easy access to your information because you now know what specific information the prospect needs in order to decide that you can solve their problem. Now, go get it. With the power behind the yes formula, some prospects will be ready to move forward and buy because they believe you can solve their problem. However, some might want to know more details or see some proof of your ability. If they request such proof, you can access only that information that they need to prove that you can solve their problem. You're now using your presentation as your close. Nice. As simple as this seems, it really does work this way. Remember, you can contact us at closethedealwithoutselling@gmail.com with your questions, your comments, or your feedback. We're looking forward to hearing what you have to say about the podcast and getting some of your questions that I can deal with here in one of our episodes. So remember that email is closethedealwithoutselling@gmail.com. Here's a question for you. You have to conduct a sales examination every time and every step of the way. What is it that you can rely on to keep you focused on the necessary steps to make this system work? Well, here's a good comparison. Military pilots, they access what are called heads-up displays to receive vital flight information or to locate targets. The heads-up display is literally projected onto the windshield so the pilot can see it at all times. I think you can actually get heads-up displays right now in luxury cars. I know Cadillac featured it a couple of years ago, where you just look at the windshield and you can see all of the information you need so you don't have to look back down while you're driving. And now, with the Yes Formula, you have your own heads-up display for sales. So this whole program is condensed into this simple, powerful formula. And as with any formula, all the ingredients have to be present in order for it to work effectively. So here, my friends, is the Yes Formula. There are 5 ingredients that make up the Yes Formula. Number 1, R&R, rapport and relationship. Second, MBA. That stands for mutually beneficial agreements. The third is CAN, C-A-N, and that stands for curious, authentic, and neutral. And then there's number 4, OEQ, open-ended questions. And last is QUIC, a step-by-step examination process which uses the other 4 ingredients to do something very special in both your business and your personal life, and that is this formula helps you clear a pathway to yes or uncover a no that was going to happen anyway. I'd like you to think of the Yes Formula as a roadmap to your sales and marketing success and even success in communicating in your personal life. The ingredients that make up the Yes Formula will help identify and enhance rapport. It'll help you remain curious, authentic, and neutral. It'll help you ask open-ended questions and establish mutually beneficial agreements. And you'll use QUIC as the structure and the heads-up display for your communication, again, whether it's in business or in your personal life. And please remember, although the Yes Formula is designed to uncover a no that was going to happen anyway, there is no part of the Yes Formula that has you create a no. Remember, your job is to uncover a no that was going to happen anyway. After all, if you're going to get a no in a sales conversation, when would you prefer to have that no? Sooner or later? Okay, back to the Yes Formula. What's a formula? A formula is a combination of ingredients that produce specific, predictable, and repeatable results. You probably worked with formulas in high school or maybe even with a little home chemistry set. And the 5 and easy-to-remember ingredients around which the Yes Formula is built ensures you that your communications will be more effective in person and on the telephone and in business and in life. In addition, the Yes Formula maximizes the impact of your written communication and your effectiveness in front of a group. This simple formula can be easily adapted to any department of a company where you or your staff come in contact with current or future customers and clients and certainly prospects. The initials of each of the 5 ingredients will remind you how you need to be to turbocharge your communications effectiveness. As I mentioned before, the very first ingredient of the Yes Formula is R&R, and R&R stands for rapport and relationship. Effective communication thrives in a rapport-filled environment. And that may sound high-toned, but you know rapport when you feel it. Rapport is the emotional result of the personal chemistry between 2 people or between a group of individuals. People buy from you and do business with people they like and they trust. In any relationship, personal chemistry is either there or it's not. However, if even a small amount of chemistry exists, you can enhance it by using some friendly yes formula tools. If there's already an abundance of rapport, you'll learn to recognize that and maintain it. Rapport exists when the unconscious similarities between individuals are more noticeable than the difference. And this rapport leads to authentic relationships in which others are willing to let down their defensive shields. They'll drop these shields because they feel that you'll provide a safe space to discuss their real issues. So, you just cannot have too much rapport. Okay, that completes the first stage of the yes formula, which is R and R. And we'll be covering the remainder of the yes formula in the next episode, so make sure you subscribe to the Close the Deal Without Selling podcast on your favorite podcast provider. And I'm delighted to say we are on all major podcast providers such as Spotify, TuneIn, Apple Music. Wherever you get your podcasts from, we'll be there. Okay, that wraps up this episode, and I think it was a pretty darn good one. As I said earlier, we'll finish up the yes formula for you in the next episode, and I urge you all, keep listening. It's worth it. This is Ike Krieger. See you next time.